welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be filming a how to stay productive during quarantine. So at the beginning of quarantine, I was pretty productive in terms of the fact that I was still in school, so I was doing schoolwork. I was filming a lot of videos. I was kind of exercising and eating healthy, and I don't know, I was not super productive, but I was definitely a lot more productive than I am now. I think what kind of happened is in quarantine, I made a lot of goals for myself because I felt that I had so much free time that I wanted to achieve all these things I've been putting off. And I think that kind of just overwhelmed me because there were so many things I wanted to do, and not being able to accomplish all of these goals was kind of just very discouraging. And so I kind of hit a wall, and what I like to say, fell off of a wagon. And so I thought that I would talk about productivity in a video. Maybe it would encourage me to kind of be more productive and remind myself of the things that I want to achieve, and hopefully just get back on that way. So I know it's different all around the world because different places have different restrictions, but right now where I live, we are still social distancing. We're actually just went on to phase 2, which is really exciting because more things are opening. Like now you can eat at restaurants on the patio. Malls are also opening, barbershops, you can now social distance with up to 10 people. So a lot of things are changing, but we are still in quarantine, and I would say that 99% of the time I'm still at home. And so I thought I would show you guys what I'm doing at home and kind of different ideas and tips and tricks of how to stay more productive when you're at home in quarantine. So first of all, I just want to admit that the one thing I've been doing a lot this quarantine is binge watching. I know, it's super bad. I've watched way too many shows. I watched the entirety of Dawson's Creek. Really good show, 10 out of 10 would recommend. And then I also watched the first seasons of Outer Banks, Little Fires Everywhere, Upload, and Never Have I Ever. I then watched the second season of 13 Reasons Why, and I also watched the last season of Fuller House. And then on top of that, I also rewatched a few episodes of Modern Family and The Office because those are just classic shows to watch. And last but not least, I'm rewatching Degrassi, and I'm currently on season 10. I know, it's a lot, and don't even get me started on all the movies I've watched as well. Anyways, even though I am watching a lot of TV right now, I do like to try to be smart about watching TV. I can't lie, there have been times where I just simply sat down or just lied in my bed and watched a lot of shows, although most of the time I do like to kind of keep myself preoccupied with other things while I'm watching these shows. I know that multitasking is technically impossible because you can't be doing two things at once, although, you know, sometimes I like to defy the odds. But I don't know, personally for me, I can't just like sit down and watch a TV show. Usually I like to do something else while I'm watching it just because I get bored of it sometimes. I feel like a lot of shows have filler parts and they're not the most entertaining, which I know like they need to have in order to do the show. It can't always be about drama and entertainment and action and whatnot. And so usually I like to keep myself somewhat preoccupied by doing other things in the background while I'm watching my shows. And so some of the things I like to do is, first of all, puzzles. I've actually only done one puzzle during quarantine. I really need to get back into the puzzle grind. But the puzzle I did do, it took me a full week to do, and at the time I was watching Dawson's Creek, and so I was able to watch a lot of Dawson's Creek while I was doing this puzzle. Another thing that you could also do is bracelet making. Recently I've gotten into this huge kick of just making a lot of bracelets with embroidery string. I actually went on to Amazon and I bought more embroidery string. So like I mentioned earlier, I'm currently watching Degrassi. It's such a good show. Would 10 out of 10 recommend. I don't know why I did that. This is 10 out of 10. Fun fact, they actually have a YouTube channel where they have all 14 seasons of Degrassi: The Next Generation, because that's the one I like to watch, and I'm currently binge watching the heck out of it. Now I'm making this bracelet, and it's The Office themed. I made a friend's one not too long ago, and I decided to do a bunch of like TV shows because I'm just really in the mood for TV shows, I guess. And so I'm making this one. As you can see, it's like an alpha pattern bracelet. The third thing you can do is walking on a treadmill. So I know that doesn't sound like the most fun thing to do, but if you're like me and you want to try to get back into exercising, or just you don't want to like lie down on your bed and you want to be somewhat active, I would totally recommend either walking on a treadmill, or if you don't have one, you can put your laptop or your phone, whatever you're watching it on, down, and you can also just walk on the spot. I find this a really great way to not only watch a show but to exercise. So then the fourth and final thing you can do is bullet journaling. Recently I've been really into bullet journaling. I feel like I go into phases where sometimes I'm just like really into bullet journaling and I'm like always doing it, and then other days I kind of forget that I have one. But recently I've been doing this new spread where it's all the TV shows that I'm currently watching. As you can see, there's kind of like a trend to this video where all I talk about is TV shows. Anyways, I'm kind of just writing down all the TV shows that I've ever watched, and I also like to put a little quote from the show on the side just for like memory's sake, and then underneath it I have all of the seasons that are in the show, and I've highlighted the ones that I've watched. So that's what I'm currently working on, and I totally recommend you guys to bullet journal if you like to be creative or artistic, or you're just also very organized. There's a lot of different ways that you can do a bullet journal. So I gave you 4 ideas of what I've been doing, but there's definitely other things you can do while watching TV. So the point of it is to just find things that you like to do, and if you can multitask, it just kind of makes you feel more productive than if you were lying in your bed. So now moving on to a few other things that you can do to stay productive. So number 1, and I think this is one of the most important things, is to wake up earlier. I know it's a really hard thing to do, especially if you don't have any plans for that day, but I really encourage you guys to force yourself to wake up early because it's honestly a life changer. I personally find that waking up at 7 and waking up at 10 really changes my mood and how productive I'll be in that day. If I wake up at 10, I kind of feel like I lost some of my day, and so I'm just like, today's just kind of a bust. Let's just not be productive at all, which is a really bad way to look at it, but that's just something I do. And so if you wake up earlier, you start the day on a high. And another really important thing about waking up early is I've fallen in this loop so many times, but sometimes I wake up at 7 a.m. so it's early, but then I stay on my bed till like 9 or 10, and that is like the worst thing to do, because even though you're waking up early, you're not really doing anything when you wake up, and spending 2 hours in your bed when you first wake up makes you feel a lot less productive. I've been there, I've done that, so just learn from my advice. So the second thing, and this is the most important thing that is actually encompasses a lot of different things, so this is the second and last thing I recommend, but it's super important, and it is to develop hobbies. Not only just develop hobbies, but also maybe do some of the hobbies that you've been putting off. Me personally, in quarantine, a motto that I've kind of tried to live by is to start doing the things that you've been putting off. So anyways, a few of the hobbies that I've been doing so far in quarantine is number 1, reading. So when it comes to reading, sometimes I really like it, sometimes I don't. It really depends on the book, because some books I can finish in like one day if it's really good, and then other books it takes me quite a while to read. But yeah, definitely reading is a good thing to pick up. There's so many books out there to read. It's really important to find books that you're interested in, because personally I felt like in high school and even elementary school you were forced to read some of these books, and I feel like that's kind of why reading has such a bad rep. It's like when you think of reading, you think of all those books that you read at English class that were just so boring, and so if you can find books that are actually very interesting to you, then you might actually really like reading. So that's one thing to kind of try out. Reading is still not for everyone though, so another thing you can do if you don't like reading but maybe like writing, you can also write books. There's different websites. The one I know is called Wattpad, and I used to be really into it when I was younger because you could literally just make an account and then write a book and publish it to put online. Another hobby is DIY projects. I personally love doing DIY projects, and it can be anything from like making bracelets, like I said, to be like interior design related, so like making either decorations or furniture. Also be making like clothes from scratch, or like sewing things, knitting things, any kind of arts and crafts. Another thing you can do is cleaning. So I know this is not the most fun thing to do, but honestly I really like cleaning in terms of I like going through my stuff every once in a while and just kind of getting rid of the stuff that you don't really need. If you watched my channel, I posted a lot of videos where I did major cleanouts of like my room and my closet, and I've also done other cleanouts like my bathroom. I just didn't film it. And it's not even just organizing like physical rooms, you can also clean electronically. So for example, I've been going through like old photos, because sometimes I take photos of the most randomest stuff, or like screenshots of stuff that I don't really need anymore. So just going through all of them, deleting them, organizing folders on your computers. You can also organize like Spotify playlists too. I've done my fair share of that. It's a really great way to kind of organize your life and make you feel more put together. Another hobby is making YouTube videos. As you can see, that's something I've been doing recently. Just kind of, it gives you something to do, and I personally find them really fun. Another thing you can do is podcasting. I've tried it a few times. A nice way to just kind of let out your thoughts. I want to write it down. You can just talk, because talking is so much easier than writing things down, in my opinion. Another hobby is either cooking or baking. Recently I've been doing a lot of both. I filmed videos of me doing like a lot of baking and cooking actually. You can kind of test out your chef skills. Then another thing you can do is exercising. It's not something that I've been doing recently, but I definitely do want to get back into doing more exercising just to be more healthier. And you don't need a gym to exercise. There are so many videos on YouTube, or even just like apps that have different exercises, and it's really easy to do at home workouts. So that's another thing I recommend. And then another thing you can do is take surveys. So recently my mom introduced me to this website called Swagbooks. I think I've talked about it before, but it's pretty much this website where you can do different things to earn swag bucks. And the bulk of it is taking surveys, but they do also have trivia games, which are actually super fun. And I know you don't earn a lot of money from doing that, but if you are bored and you want to make a little bit of money, you can definitely try it out. And then last but not least, kind of a little bit of a stretch, because most people probably don't want to do this in their free time, but hear me out. So you can also take online classes. I must admit, I tried doing this and I didn't necessarily stick to it, but I do kind of look at it every once in a while. But what I mean by online classes is that some universities or colleges actually offer classes for free. One that I've been using is called edX. Literally just one day I searched up free online classes, which you can literally just do the same, and I found different websites that offer free classes. It is a way just to kind of learn more things and like kind of be more knowledgeable. And I find that like right now, especially for me being a university student, there's a lot of things I can learn about like my job field and stuff like that. And so just like if you're bored and you want to do something that could better your future, I totally recommend you taking more of these classes. I took one that was like about Excel, because you use a lot of Excel in business, so just learning new things can really help your skills. And yeah, so I blabbered a lot for this video. It's probably really long. It is gonna take me forever to edit. I hope you guys learned some new ideas or things you can do while in quarantine. I hope this was somewhat helpful for you. Sorry if it wasn't. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!